Well, good morning, my friends. It is a beautiful day in paradise. Yes, sirree, we got started on our pile of mulch here. Actually, we got a fair bit of it chunked away there. There's still a ton of it, but yeah, we were busy last night. So we went around and all of our live plants that we had planted here in the forest garden have been mulched. And any area that was dead grass, as I mentioned before, with this soil here, if you leave something to cover the grass, it dies, and it takes years and years to come back. So, oh, there's Mr. Chipmunk. Chippy chippy. Anyway, yeah, it looks good. It looks nice. So all of the blueberries and the haascaps and the apple trees and this dead patch here all got a nice layer of mulch. So the goal will be to make all of this mulch. I haven't quite decided on the boundaries, but basically everything here. We even managed to get into the gardens last night as well. So yeah, that's the tomato garden done. So I got a chance to pull out things that were weeds and things that were not. And I am pleased. We do have some arugula. Looks like we have 2 different types of arugula, so that's thrilling. We have potatoes. What the heck are potatoes doing here? Oh, yeah. Sue and I had some potatoes that were going bad, and we decided, what the heck, threw them in the gardens. So I think the dill will be happy here. The peas are starting to finally kick in. Our little lettuce garden is doing well. As I mentioned, we're going away on a little trip, and we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, so there's not going to be anybody here watering the garden. Well, that's a lie. I've got people coming over, but I didn't want my gardens to be a burden to them, so we've really been trying to get ourselves ready and prepared so that these plants will be able to look after themselves. Covering up the soil is key. Oh, looks like we're a little messy. So I'm told it's very important now that this not get turned in. You don't turn your wood chips into your soil. That'll cause all sorts of nitrogen balance problems. You have to keep it separate and on top. And basically, once you've moved towards this, you're kind of committing to a no-till garden style. And so I said to Sue, you realize we won't be digging these gardens every year. So we have about an inch or 2 on right now. And I think in the fall we will put on another 4 or 5 inches. And yeah, we'll see what that does. Hopefully it'll work some magic for us. So in our old way of doing things, we were a slave to fertilizer. We couldn't get enough compost on these gardens, or we didn't source enough material into the gardens, and we were a slave to the fertilizer. And so you'd particularly notice it in these beans. The beans would be really light pale yellow, and then give them some fertilizer and bam, they pick right up. And so what we're hoping is that we're going to restore this soil, and we are also going to now start to throw all of our compost in there very regularly, and we're going to continually add more. So we're going to work this, and my understanding is that if we throw everything back into it, then it will maintain its integrity and its lush fertility. Yeah. I was watching some YouTube videos, and everyone recommended to contact an arborist and then get on their dump list, and you can get this for free. And when you're living in a city, then, you know, there's lots of this happening. But we are out in the middle of nowhere, so that wasn't working for us, and I needed this. We needed this right away, and so I decided, okay, well, I'll try and pay for it. Contacted someone in town, and they said they had some mulch. I said, I really want really crappy stuff. He says, you mean like unsellable? I said, yeah. And so I went and looked and saw what they had and showed it to him, and he said, okay, great, I'll get you a price. And then when he came back to me, it was going to be $600. I said, you're kidding, right? And no, they weren't kidding. So I guess it's gold to them. $600 was just freaking rude, and I wasn't prepared to spend $600. So I sort of gave up, and we started using our own mulch, you know, scavenging. You know, at $600, I'm going to scavenge. But scavenging has a cost too, you know. So yeah. Anyway, we were depressed about that. We have a lot of wood hanging around here, and we get a lot of leaves and stuff. So I thought maybe I would just get my own chipper and do it myself. That made sense. So I started looking, and $1,000 would get you a toy. And so I thought, oh, I'm going to go to a Kijiji. And when I typed in a chipper or wood chip chipper, an ad came up from someone in Noelville who had wood chips and mulch. I asked them how much for their mulch, and so their wood chips were going to be $500 plus delivery. So, you know, their wood chips, their top grade, was already less than this other scoundrel in town, and they told me it was going to be $300 plus shipping, or sorry, plus tax. So it came out to be like $340 for all of this. Now, I didn't want to pay. I wanted to scavenge, but do you think that I could scavenge this much for $340? Like, my goodness, one basket at a time. I mean, this was really the best way to do it. And you know, so for $340, there's enough here to do our entire place. And so now, rather than putting my energies on scavenging, we can put our energies on getting it into the garden. So this all came from a mill, and what this is just chopped up bark. All of the bark in the milling process gets removed. All the bark gets chipped up like this, and basically sold. And it looks beautiful. I mean, if I had my druthers, I would like to have had, you know, whole tree scraps, you know, the limbs and leaves and bark and wood. That gives the most diversity, I think. But I mean, this is just really, really beautiful stuff. And my hope is that we'll have all of this out and distributed in our garden by fall. In fact, I would love to be taking another load, believe it or not, because we're going to have about 6 or 8 inches of mulch over in that forest garden. And I think the sooner I get it on, the better. And if we can have it, you know, on the ground and wintering over, that'll really help us for next season. So Gertrude, it's nice to sit and watch the mulch, eh? Isn't it neat? Yes. And it smells so good. Anyway, folks, I'm going back in for my second cup of coffee of the morning, and we'll catch you later. Happy gardening, eh?